3 new cars from Traxxas. Well, not as yet, but at this time of year we'd expect to at least have 2 in there, possibly 3 by the end of the year. Obviously, the current situation is going to damp things down a little bit, although Armour have been releasing stuff. I'll get onto that in just a minute. In this video, I want to talk about my thoughts as to what 3 cars might be coming from Traxxas. I'm going to discuss my logic with you. You're more than welcome to have your say in the comment section below this video. In fact, I would positively encourage that. And if anybody thinks Traxxas have just been like lagging behind, letting Armour get on with it, that is not their style at all. Traxxas, quite a well-run company in terms of marketing, etc. A lot of Traxxas marketing is done by releasing new cars into the dealership, so you can go and look at one, check it out, put a pre-order in at your local dealership. Obviously, with a lot of us being under quarantine, COVID-19, etc., that is out of the window. Why would they want to change that business model? If it works for them, they wouldn't. They're in business. And I can see if the COVID restrictions go on for like 3-4 months further, then Traxxas may change their position on how they market stuff. But at the minute, right now, if I was them, I wouldn't change a darn thing. So what is the number 1 car that I think Traxxas will bring out next? Quite possibly a drag racer. Something along the lines of a team associated DR10. A drag racer, Richie? Horror! They're just copying team associated with the DR10. Traxxas brought out their drag racing funny car as their completely ready to run car long before team associated did. And one of the most common platforms people are using in no prep drag racing is 2-wheel drive slash. So if I was somebody at Traxxas, what I would be thinking of, why don't we make a drag racing car based on the 2-wheel drive slash platform? But they've had time to develop it, so I'm thinking they're not necessarily going to rework the slash platform, but we're going to see something like that. But with time on their hands, like all of us, I'm sure somebody at Traxxas has thought about this long and hard, and we're maybe going to see something not necessarily based on the slash platform, based on something about that size for the no prep drag racing scene. So that would be my number 1 pick as to what Traxxas are going to release next, because the no prep drag racing scene has simply exploded, and a lot of that love or hate Traxxas is down to the slash. Oh, and by the way, anyone out there from Traxxas watching this, if that is going to be your next release, do feel free to send me one so that I can test it on this channel. Now, people may jump on the fence and scream, oh, Traxxas copying everything like normal. Oh, hang on. Traxxas brought out that funny car that's on the screen as a ready-to-run drag racer long before anybody else did. So it looks like Traxxas were completely ahead of the game, indeed, with the timing system, which a lot of people still use on the no prep drag racing scene. More to come from Traxxas. So what do we think on the Traxxas drag car idea? Team associated DR10, $319.99. I bet if Traxxas put one on the market, $299.99, the thing would sell like hotcakes. Particularly if it was ready to run and included the battery and charger with it. As I say, this is just my thoughts on what 3 cars Traxxas might release next. I think they've kind of done the monster truck thing to death. I think we're looking for a curveball like the TRX4, which caught everybody out by surprise. Oh, Traxxas releasing a crawler, it's going to be terrible. Or like 6 months later, everybody was there like, oh, that's mine. Or are they going to reinvent the RC category again entirely? Not quite sure on that one. And when it comes down to the next 2 cars that I think Traxxas might release, one is kind of down to an existing platform that they've got, or more specifically an existing motor that they've got, and the other comes down purely to speed. Just remember, guys, if you like what you see today, don't forget to subscribe. Now, Traxxas, to my mind, did not specifically develop that 4S power plant just to go in the Traxxas Max. I think we're going to see that in other Traxxas cars without any shadow of a doubt. If you look at the Valinian 3,500 kV system, it's been put in just about every Traxxas car across the range. I'm not saying the 4S system will be, but I doubt they invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in developing it just for one platform. So I can see it going another platform. Are they going to put something out there that contends with the Outcast, the Creighton 4S? Not quite sure. They like to throw a curveball, knock us all sideways on there. Gut feel is they're going to do something like take the Traxxas Rally, not necessarily put the platform in the Traxxas Rally, but maybe upsize it to maybe a 1/6 scale car, a little bit bigger, fit a 4S power plant in there, make it an absolute drift god. That would be my gut feel. Would be fairly easy and fairly cheap for them to do in terms of tooling. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below the video. But I stop. This car can take 4S Traxxas. And that would move on to car choice number 3 that Traxxas might release. I'm thinking speedrun car. Looking under here, we have the Traxxas Fortec 2.0 VXL to give it its full name. Not a Traxxas body, speedrun body on here. This car, with a few modifications, aftermarket motors, etc., can see you well over the 100-mile-an-hour mark. I could see them releasing a speedrun car, potentially, as both like a 100-mile-an-hour plus car and as a roller. Much the same as Armour have recently done with some of their cars. I think there is a market for the good rolling chassis out there. And speaking of that infraction limitless debate on there, I can see Traxxas pulling a blinder and putting an 8S speedrun car, maybe with a super slick body over the top of it, completely blowing everything else away. Maybe 120, 130 mile an hour top speed. That would be what I'd like to see, fingers crossed. And I'm sure they've got the design know-how and the capability to do that. Why do I say Traxxas might be bringing out a new speedrun car? To my mind, X01, great car, now feeling a little bit dated. And at the end of this video, I'm going to kind of talk through the entire Traxxas range and just throw a few thoughts in there as to why certain cars might be reinvented as they move forwards. But the X01, a highly modified Fortec 2.0 VXL, can go faster than X01 does stock out of the box on there. X01 has come under a lot of pressure from cars like the Armour Infraction and the Limitless, which is pretty close to this under the chassis. This is 80 miles an hour, stock out of the box with that truck style body on there. Imagine Traxxas building something like this with a smoother body over the top of it. 1/8 scale, I can see that working to my mind. What do you think, guys and girls? Okay, well, in summary as to what 3 cars I think Traxxas are going to release, I think number 1 will be a drag racing car, round about the $299 price point. And as I say, do not think they are copying Team Associated DR10. Traxxas were in the drag game long before anyone else. Second car, I would say, would be something based on the 4S platform. Not quite sure what that would be, but I'm thinking maybe 1/6 rally car, something like that. Road going saloon, maybe. Not necessarily thinking of the 4S powered monster truck. Third car I think they will produce is an uprated speedrun car to compete with the likes of the Armour Infraction and Limitless. And gut feel is, you've got to be looking at something that will run over 120 miles an hour straight out of the box as a ready to run car. Anyway, that is my thoughts on the next 3 Traxxas cars I think will be coming out this year. My gut feel is they're not like lagging behind Armour. They've held those cars back for a reason, and that reason is the COVID-19 virus on there. What anybody thinks Traxxas are just sitting back and holding and waiting for Armour to fire the cannon first, forget it. Traxxas marketing guys know their stuff very well. But anyway, I like to tell my thoughts to the current Traxxas range. Few of you, like me, have wondered about the Traxxas Bandit. Been debating buying a Bandit VXL for quite some while now. It's getting a little bit long in the teeth, but it's still very, very fast and a huge amount of car for the money. Do wonder if they might produce like a Bandit in a bigger 1/8 scale, maybe the 4S motor. That is a thought. Now, my gut feel is they're not going to touch the Stampede, either in 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive form. Likewise, the Slash or the Rustler on that. Those are proven platforms, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of cars out there. A lot of people relying on those platforms. One car in the current range that I can see them severely updating is the Traxxas Summit. Absolutely awesome car, just crawls over just about anything. So potentially I could see them bring out a new Summit in the next couple of months, and that might supersede one of the 3 cars that I've already mentioned out on there, because that is the one car in the range which they could update without annoying a lot of people in terms of spare parts, etc, etc. What I can't see them doing necessarily is moving into the smaller car market so much, even though now we're on the shelter in place at the minute. Things like my double toys 144001, they would be hard pushed to put a car out at that price point and still make money. Well, I don't care if Traxxas make money. People say, well, I do, because I'd like them to stay in business, and so should you as well, despite your personal opinion on them. And I have no time for any fanboy stuff on this channel. I'm a Traxxas, I just like people who make good RC cars. One thing I could see them doing, potentially, is expanding the Traxxas range, so we might see something like a 1/24th scale crawler to compete with the likes of the SX20. And lastly, from Richie, that curveball. Possibly a 1/8 scale buggy. We've seen similar size with the Slash 4x4 a lot of the times in VXL mode, the thing that wants to wheelie continuously. Personally, I would like to see Traxxas produce something like a 1/8 scale buggy, which like hugs the ground and you can floor the thing, does 65-70 miles an hour and keeps all four wheels on the ground. Anyway, it is about 94 degrees here in sunny Northern California. If you've liked what I've said today, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe. As ever, all comments welcome. Well, thumbs up if you like this video, guys. Post any comments you might have in the comment section below the video and hit the circle below to subscribe. And if you do hit the circle, don't forget to hit the bell.